What's up guys, Sam Adams here, and this is a video that I was really hoping to not make this week, but here we are, so let's go ahead and get into it. This is going to be about the Arkham Knight PC release debacle that's been kind of spreading across the internet lately, and it's very clear that the PC version of Arkham Knight is extremely broken, while the console versions are for the most part untouched, which is actually really good for the console people, but terrible for the PC people that really appreciate games and, you know, really get into that kind of thing. So I wanted to make a video on it, but before I get really far into this, I wanted to say don't dislike just because you disagree with my opinion. I would love to hear what you say in the comments down below, but you know, just have an open mind about this. I won't be taking a console or PC side. I'm not taking sides with this. I'm just stating the facts, telling you guys what's going on, and having a conversation back and forth about how a game should be appropriately developed so that everyone gets a really good version of the game and has a really good experience and has fun playing it, because at the end of the day, the games are all about just having fun and enjoying a hobby that we all happen to have. So now that that's out of the way, let's go ahead and get into it. So first off, the console version of the games are running fine. If you want to go out and buy the version of the game for the Xbox One or PlayStation 4, I give you full permission to do that. Watch some gameplay first, make sure it's the kind of game you want, and at this moment, at 1:36 on Tuesday, the game has no problems on console, and hopefully a patch doesn't mess that up, because that would be devastating for the entire Arkham franchise, since this is the last game of the entire Batman Arkham franchise coming from Rocksteady. But now moving on to the PC release. What happened? Why? How? Okay, let's go ahead and start off. First off, the game is locked in at 30 frames per second, which is pretty much the equivalent of sinning in the world of PC gaming, because most monitors can run huge frame rates in today's day and age. Huge rigs can get hundreds of frames per second. The GTX Titan cards can get really good performance on this, and the game is locked at 30 frames a second. This is changeable if you go into the game files and you change it from 30 to 99999 or something like that. You can get as many frames per second as your PC can run, but that might cause the game to actually crash and therefore pretty dang sucky, which the ability to change the frame rate should have totally been included in the game itself, and I'm not really sure why any game wouldn't put that in a PC version of that game in today's day and age. Next up, some people are reporting memory leaks, which will actually make the game jump up to 12 gigabytes of memory on your computer, which is not how much it's taking up on your computer itself, it's how much of that RAM that it's actually taking up, and that is a lot of RAM, and it will absolutely crash the game, and that happens repetitively over and over again, so you can't play the game at all. What's really sad is that Nvidia released these GameWorks ready drivers for Batman Arkham Knight, the same kind of thing they did for The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt and Project Cars, that supposedly make the game pretty much the best it can possibly look with the Nvidia graphics cards running. And then AMD was supposed to be working pretty close with Rocksteady in development of this title, except for the fact that AMD graphics cards are getting probably the worst problems out of them all. Some users even reporting as low as 5 frames per second while playing a game that is out in 2015 that got a full release. Oh man. So who is to blame for this terrible launch? Personally, I don't really know. I'm going to go ahead and lean towards the idea that it's Warner Bros. That accidentally messed this one up, because they have had a pretty bad history as far as PC ports go. Mortal Kombat 10 was basically unplayable on PC, and I'm still not sure if they ever got that fixed. And Injustice Gods Among Us was equally as bad. It just seems to be one of those things that they can't get right. And also, Rocksteady outsourced the production of the PC port version of Batman Arkham Knight to a studio that has 12 people in it. If you look at the credits of the game, you can see that there are 12 people working on a PC port that a lot of people are going to play, and that's just not enough people to make a quality game of this caliber. It's a AAA title in 2015 that people are expecting a lot of, and you're giving that entirely to 12 people to work on. That was just a bad idea to begin with. As far as the Batman Arkham Knight release goes, no one benefited from this, except for, I guess, if you're playing on console, PS4, Xbox One, you got a pretty good version of the game out of it. But if you're playing on PC, you got a crappy version of the game that crashes constantly and is locked in by default at 30 frames a second. And then if you're Warner Brothers, your name's been soiled. And if you're Rocksteady, one of the best game franchises in the entire industry has been soiled by this terrible launch of the final game of the entire franchise, which is a pretty crappy way to end off a franchise. What it comes down to is that the console version of this game is where the majority of the revenue is going to come from for Warner Brothers and Rocksteady, so they're going to focus on the development of that console version. When a AAA title comes out, it's just common sense that a huge name like Batman Arkham Knight is going to get a lot more people playing on console just because it is a huge name and a lot of people want to play the hottest games of 2015 and nothing else. But what needs to happen is that the developers need to focus their assets equally across the board for both console and PC versions of their game. If you've got 50 people working on the console, PS4, Xbox One version of the game, set up 50 people working on the PC version of the game. That's obviously just an example. That's not literally how many people worked on the game, but that's what needs to happen. That way there's quality control across the board. The PC people can tailor that version of the game specifically for the PC, and the console version people can tailor it specifically for the console. Everyone's happy and a good end result comes out, and a quality game is added to everyone's game collection, and ultimately everyone is happy and enjoying the game. So there you guys have it. I hope you've enjoyed this video, even though it's kind of a sad and salty topic. It's always depressing whenever a game doesn't turn out the way the developer really intends it to and the way that we want it to. But if you enjoyed the video, drop me a like. Comment what you think about this entire situation. Do you think that this is just kind of how the gaming industry is going these days, that the PC version is always going to have troubles and that we just have to get used to it? Or do you still stand behind the idea that a game should be launched without any issues and in the best possible way that it can possibly be launched? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And if you're new to the channel, be sure to check out some of the other content. I upload new stuff like 4 or 5 days a week. Nothing really like this, but normally it's just kind of game discussion, general news and stuff, and I just like talking to you guys about video games. So if you'd like to hear more of that, then please check out my channel. But as always, thanks for watching this video. Best of luck with Arkham Knight if you're on PC. I'm going to go play it on PS4 to see if the story still stacks up to the other titles in the franchise. But again, best of luck. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.